Love anniversary. On our love anniversary, Lucas tricked me into bringing out the wedding dress I designed myself, saying he wanted to take commemorative photos. But when we arrived at the destination, I realized it was actually a wedding site. Our classmates and close friends looked at me with amusement. Emily really brought the wedding dress. I just mentioned taking commemorative photos and she came, thinking she could replace Sophia, but it backfired. I watched Lucas quietly, waiting for his explanation. His first love, however, knelt before me. Emily, my mom is in the late stages of cancer and wants to see me get married one last time. Lucas felt sorry for me and used this method. Please help me this time. Lucas, who had felt a bit guilty, immediately helped Sophia up. His gaze towards me turned cold. Such a small matter, and you forced Sophia to kneel. If you think this hurt your pride, you can break up with me and find someone else. I nodded, agreeing with his idea, turned around, and changed my marriage partner. A month after registering the marriage, he called me. Is a month enough for you to calm down? If you're still angry, we can register first. A man's mocking voice came through. Junior, the marriage certificate is probably not going to happen. You should start calling her aunt now. On our love anniversary, Lucas called me for the first time, saying he wanted to take commemorative photos. Don't forget to bring the wedding dress you designed. The first commemorative photo is special. After hanging up the phone, I was excited all night. I had been with Lucas for 3 years, and I always heard stories about him and his first love from his friends. He quit smoking and drinking for her, and on their anniversary, they took photos to commemorate their time together, preserving countless memories in several albums. Hearing about the albums always made me envious of their relationship and how seriously Lucas treated her. So, at a gathering, I suggested that we also have a commemorative album for our anniversary this year. He refused. Besides me, you won't take photos with anyone else. Don't try to compare yourself to Sophia. You're not worthy. He humiliated me in front of his friends, completely disregarding my dignity. From that day on, his friends became even more brazen, pointing at me and mocking me. What does she think, comparing herself to Sophia? Sophia is back and he's just waiting to be dumped. She thinks knowing Lucas for a few years can compare to Sophia. I want to see her humiliated. Lucas heard this a few times and only reminded them not to go too far. When he saw my sad expression, he looked away, completely indifferent. I thought our relationship was over, but then he changed. He not only called me but also suggested taking commemorative photos to celebrate our anniversary. I was so excited that I tried several different looks, hoping to capture my best side. However, when we arrived at the destination, I found it was a wedding site. My classmates and friends looked at me with amusement. Emily really brought the wedding dress. I knew just mentioning commemorative photos would bring her here, thinking she could replace Sophia. But it backfired. Her boyfriend is getting married, and she's not the bride. I clutched the wedding dress tightly, feeling helpless. Several of my classmates, who had always admired Lucas, had been giving me a hard time since they found out we were together. From group projects to causing trouble at school, they didn't stop until graduation. I knew they would seize any chance to humiliate me. My misery was their excitement. One woman snatched the wedding dress from my hand. The wedding dress should be worn by the real bride. An imposter should go back where she came from. As she continued, I saw Lucas and Sophia walking out side by side. They looked stunning, even in simple attire. Lucas's gaze fell on me, showing rare guilt. Just as he was about to explain, Sophia stepped forward and knelt. Emily, my mom has late-stage cancer and wants to see me get married one last time. Lucas felt sorry for me and used this method. Please help me this time. I know you two have been together for years, and I don't want to ruin that. There are reasons behind this, so don't blame Lucas. Lucas, who had felt a bit guilty, immediately helped Sophia up. His gaze towards me turned cold. Such a small matter and you force Sophia to kneel. If you think my actions hurt your pride, you can break up with me and find someone else. She always used the threat of breaking up to make me compromise. Clearly, he was in the wrong, and they schemed against me. But in the end, it was my fault. She never thought about fixing the mistake, just fixing me. The frame, his friend's mockery, he was always fixing me. So this time, let's fix it completely. I wiped away the almost falling tears and nodded. All right, just change the person, ignoring everyone's expressions. I walked out of the wedding venue and updated my status on Facebook, single and ready to mingle. Derek's friends also saw my post and left comments underneath. If you want to get married, I know a few bachelors in their 30 seconds who would be perfect for you. I have a little uncle who just got out of jail. He loves girls like you. Want me to set you up? Beggars can't be choosers. Is Facebook really this short on men? I can help too. Among all the offhand comments, only one caught my eye. 26 years old, no bad habits, stable income. We can meet at a certain restaurant on Friday afternoon. I took a closer look because the username was Derek. Derek's uncle, Lucas, hadn't come home last night. I had no intention of looking for him. Just as I was about to pack up my things from the apartment, the door suddenly opened from the outside. Sophia barged in with a group of her friends. Without saying a word, they started dismantling my past sincerity was trampled into the mud, impossible to retrieve. I packed my things simply, ready to leave, when the doorbell rang. Opening the door, I found a local delivery guy holding a package for me to sign. After he left, I opened the box. Inside was my wedding dress. The pearls I had painstakingly sewn on were all torn off. The lace was cut. The beautiful white veil was stained with other colors. The rest was even worse. My phone beeped with a message from Sophia. The dress is ruined. Make another one. Her tone was blunt, with not a hint of apology, but rather a commanding attitude. I didn't reply. I took photos of the dress and looked up the costs of the materials and labor from when I made it. I posted it on social media. It cost $30,000. Sophia, consider this dress sold to you. Who's paying? The next second, Lucas called. It's just a wedding dress. How could it be that expensive? Delete the post and don't make it hard for Sophia. I laughed. I'd believe it if Sophia asked me herself. Did you not see what materials I used when I made the dress? Handmade lace, natural pearls, just the right amount of each. You know how hard I worked to complete it. I studied design as my second major in college because my grandma was a designer who specialized in wedding gowns. I loved those luxurious gowns since I was a child and wanted to design one for myself when I got married. Lucas and I grew up together, and I often told her about my dream. She noticed when I started making the dress and asked about it, saying, "It's just a wedding dress, other than you. No one will care on the wedding day." I felt a bit helpless, but I care. The dress I wear to marry the person I love needs to be treated seriously, like our feelings. Anything taken lightly will be discarded eventually. As long as you like it, she responded. Her acknowledgement made me more enthusiastic about designing. When the dress was finished, I was so excited I couldn't sleep. I stored it carefully, anticipating the moment of happiness, only for it to be shattered easily by that person. What once brought joy now brought sorrow. If you think he can't pay, you can pay for him. You're married, a bit of money shouldn't be a problem, right? When were we ever married? The background noise on Lucas's end was chaotic, with people jeering. I caught some phrases. Didn't they say Emily always gives Derek face? If Derek says no, then it's no. Why is this time different? Lost the bet, hand over your cigarettes. Wait, Derek's still on the phone. I pretended not to hear and continued. Transfer the money to me quickly. I don't want to have to ask you for it again. I came to you with a reason, unlike some people. I have boundaries. Lucas seemed angry, his voice raised. You said it. Don't regret it. Regret? I've already regretted my one-sided feelings and wasted emotions. I hung up and called my best friend to pick me up. At the hospital, they cleaned my wounds. Since they had already healed, there was no need for stitches. My best friend looked at me with disappointment. Why do you act like a block of wood? When bullied, you just think of running away, not fighting back. I bit my lip and lowered my head. She sighed, poking my cheek. You owe me. Let's get some food and then you can stay at my place. Just as we got into the car, I received a bank transfer, not a penny more or less. I went back to my phone and blocked everyone related to Lucas. Finally, my social media was free from their sarcastic comments and emojis, and I felt an unprecedented sense of relief. My best friend drove us to a private restaurant. After getting together with Lucas, she disliked me hanging out and having fun with my best friend, so I had cut down our time together. My best friend often complained that I was love-struck and would be a strict wife in the future. I just laughed along. It seemed true. Without that restriction now, I felt incredibly free. I had just sipped some juice and was about to eat when a hand landed on my shoulder. The man was Nathan, one of Lucas's close friends with a bad reputation for womanizing. Before knowing about my relationship with Lucas, he often ogled me, making me uncomfortable. Today of all days, I ran into him. Who's this beauty? Oh, it's the sister-in-law, or should I say, ex-sister-in-law. I heard you're looking for a husband on social media. How about me? I slapped his hand away, very disgusted, and tried to leave with my best friend, but Nathan wouldn't let us go, blocking us with his friends. I'm giving you a chance. Don't push your luck. From the private room, a few people noticed the scene. Hey, isn't that Nathan? Looking up, I locked eyes with Lucas, who seemed to recognize the situation. He paused for a moment upon seeing me. Derek, did you arrange to meet her? I just, playing a prank on my sister-in-law, Emily scoffed and said, It has nothing to do with me. But let me remind you, even minor bullying can be against the law. She seemed to casually mention this, as if it was unintentional. But if it happens within a marriage, then it doesn't count. Wait, I just thought of something, Derek said, looking at Lucas in disbelief. He couldn't imagine that such a sinister idea had come from her. After speaking, he left with his group of friends, not even glancing back. My best friend noticed Nathan's intentions and tried to pull me away, but Nathan slapped her unconscious. She anxiously tried to drag me out. Haven't I always wanted to get married? Who cares who it's with, as long as we register at the civil office? I know someone who can help us with that. They had the numbers on their side. The restaurant staff wanted to intervene but were stopped by the manager. Do you know who he is? You've gotten yourself into trouble. I desperately sought hell. Emily stood beside Derek, her eyes falling on me with a trace of disbelief. Derek's parents warmly pulled me to their side, and his mother seemed quite satisfied with me. You must be Emily, right? That rascal was really impulsive, getting registered with you without proper planning. But don't worry, Emily, I'm not the type to mess things up. Engagement, wedding, dowry, everything will be arranged properly. You won't be shortchanged, Derek's mother said, giving Derek a stern look. You should have invited her over for dinner earlier instead of hiding her all the time. Derek scratched his nose. I just got her to agree and brought her over right away. The atmosphere wasn't as pleasant on Sophia's side. Luke's mother didn't seem to like her at all and was very cold. Joining our family isn't that easy. Luke is kind-hearted, helping you with a fake wedding to fool your mother. But just because you have a wedding ceremony doesn't mean you're really part of our family. Sophia felt incredibly humiliated and tugged at Luke, hoping he would speak up for her, but Luke didn't even look at her. Derek's mother slipped a jade bracelet onto my wrist and asked me some basic questions. After learning about my family situation, she seriously inquired, Do you want them to attend your wedding? I shook my head. They don't want me anymore. They've both started new families. It's better not to bother them." "All right then," she said. After dinner, I went to the restroom. As soon as I came out, I was blocked by Luke. His eyes were slightly red, staring at me unblinkingly. "Are you and Derek just pretending? Did Derek get desperate and ask you to help? Tell me, I can help you cover it up." I interrupted his monologue. "Pretending. I thought you messaged me because you already knew we got registered." "But no, it wasn't Nathan. You must be disappointed. After all, you really wanted him to marry me so you could watch him mistreat. I never imagined that once the gas was turned on, it couldn't be turned off. I tried many methods, but the fire only grew larger. It was about to catch my hair when a boy jumped through the window and helped me shut off the main valve. He told me his name was Lucas, and then he ran off in a hurry. I didn't see him again for several years. When we met again, he had changed a bit. I thanked him, but Lucas frowned, his voice still youthful. I had already forgotten about it. But if you're trying to use this to get close to the Lucas family, you're using the wrong approach. I stepped back into my safe zone. Since that incident, I kept an eye on him secretly, followed him, and worked hard to make myself better. Just hearing my name mentioned by others alongside his was a different kind of satisfaction. I waited for him, and after he broke up with his first love, he finally noticed me. He called me over like one would a small dog. "Emily, do you like me? Want to be my girlfriend?" I quickly nodded my head. My best friend scolded me, saying Lucas was obviously heartbroken and looking for a rebound. I nodded in agreement. "Then why don't you break up with him?" she asked. I shook my head. "Even just being with him is fine. Maybe he'll notice me more in the future." My best friend was so mad at my lack of self-respect she pinched my cheeks. "You're so spineless. You'll definitely get hurt." "We'll see about that," I replied. Just as I was finishing a design, a colleague called me downstairs saying someone was looking for me with a playful expression. I thought it was Derek, but it felt odd. Why would he be looking for me? When I got to the lobby, Lucas was there with a bouquet of flowers. I turned to leave, but he blocked my way. "Emily, let's not make this difficult. Let's compromise." My colleagues were watching the scene unfold, and more people gathered. "I've had the apartment cleaned, changed the locks, and prepared many gifts for you. I can explain about Sophia. Come back with me." For the first time, he was desperate for me to go with him, sensing that if he didn't try, I would leave. I shook my head decisively. If it wasn't for the wedding dress and fake marriage, his compromise might have moved me, but not now. My gaze shifted to the woman at the door who was gritting her teeth. I calmly pointed behind him. "Instead of telling me this, you should deal with your personal affairs first." Being his first love, Lucas turned around at my words. Sophia had just put down her phone, tears on the verge of falling, looking pitiful. For the first time, he didn't walk towards her. He no longer had his usual compassion, only annoyance. After work, I received a message on WeChat. Someone had paid a marketing account to slander me, saying I was two-timing. They depicted the simple Lucas as a married man, ignored by his wife, and portrayed me as intentionally seducing a colleague. Some people saw through it. "It was that man who came to find you. How can they turn it into your fault?" Even some of Lucas's wealthy friends testified against me. For a moment, I was vilified. I thanked the person who informed me and left work. Derek was already waiting for me. I searched my phone, having never deleted chat records. I kept many records related to Lucas and Sophia. I took screenshots and showed them to Derek. "Can you help me with something?" Derek seemed to have been waiting for this. He glanced at my phone, knowing exactly what needed to be done. "Is there a reward if I succeed?" He pointed to his cheek. I was stunned for a second, realizing he was teasing me. I felt my face heat up. "Finish it first, then we'll talk." As soon as the marketing account stirred up anger, a group of bigger influencers came out, guiding the public positively and revealing the truth. You talk about mistresses and affairs, but it's laughable. It's just a first love unhappy with her ex dating someone new, wanting to get back together. Look, she even ruined the wedding dress she made. How dare you blame the victim? Some astute people followed the clues and found that Sophia was among the women followed by those wealthy friends. Digging deeper, more dirt surfaced. Claims of a mother with cancer wanting to see her daughter married were debunked. Her mother was actually on vacation abroad. The so-called cancer was nonsense. Netizens were furious. I've seen people curse their ex but never their own mother. You're truly vicious. Trying to break up a young couple and incite online harassment? You're disgusting. Fortunately, I heard that the victim has found a boyfriend who treats her well. Sophia, you should stay with your ex and stop hurting others. Sophia was so angry she couldn't speak, trying to get those accounts deleted, afraid that Lucas would find out. She called Lucas's friends for help. Emily won't delete it. #chat conversation. How should we handle the chat logs? What if Luke finds out? Derek's good friend reassured him, "Don't worry. I've already contacted someone. Those comments will be cleared soon." Sophia was somewhat moved and tears uncontrollably streamed down her face. Luckily, I have you all. If it weren't for your help in sabotaging things between Luke and Emily, Luke and I wouldn't have reached this point. Another good friend interjected, "What help can that woman give Derek? She's got no love from her parents. Only someone like you is truly fit to be Mrs. Derek." Derek had been listening outside the door for a while. He slowly pushed the door open and walked in. "Tell me, who do you think is fit to be Mrs. Derek?" She finally understood why his group of friends didn't like her and tried every means to defame her. It was all orchestrated under the guise of being in his best interest, pushing the girl he had feelings for away and into someone else's arms. Yes, he had realized it, setting aside the prejudices instilled by his friends. He genuinely had feelings for her. But it seemed his realization came a bit too late. Derek found the world's top designer to design my wedding dress. He seemed to know my basic measurements quite well, with no major adjustments needed, only some final touches. He asked me to discuss the details with the designer, handling the rest himself. With the involvement of this top designer, I brought out my previous wedding dress sketches for modification, and they began production. It was stress-free and efficient. Luke came looking for me midway through, but Derek stopped him. I don't know what Derek did, but I didn't see Luke after that. The wedding went smoothly. Derek introduced me to his group of good friends. A few of them teased me. "Oh, so you're the little sister-in-law who almost burned your hair? You do look quite like a couple with Derek. May you have many children soon." The question lingered in my heart until the end of the wedding. When we entered the bridal chamber, I finally asked, "Derek, when did you see me almost burn my hair?" Derek seemed thoughtful. It was a long time ago, a hungry little girl trying to make food herself. I had made a mistake back then, and my mom had grounded me. I was worried you'd tell on me, so I used Luke's name. It all made sense. No wonder Luke's first reaction back then was to think I was trying to cozy up to him. Turns out, it wasn't him at all. I looked at Derek, feeling a mix of emotions. He seemed a bit uneasy under my gaze, trying to say something to lighten the mood, but I pulled his tie, gently kissed his cheek, and as a token of appreciation, tried to push him away. But he wouldn't allow it, trapping me in his arms and stealing a breathless kiss. That night, I slept soundly until dawn. It seemed a call came in, but I didn't have the strength to answer. Derek took the call, and I heard a familiar voice. "I'm sorry, Emily. I know I was wrong. Please don't marry Uncle. He sent me abroad. I'll be back soon. Once I'm back, we'll get our marriage certificate." I'll make you a new wedding dress and we'll start over." He talked for a while, but there was no response from the other end. Finally, he tentatively called out, "Emily?" Derek then spoke, his voice slightly mocking. "Junior, the marriage certificate can't be issued anymore. You should start calling her aunt." A mistake at every step, the call ended. Derek blocked the number and pulled me into his arms. The spring was perfect.